You want it to be succulent.
I do want it to be succulent. You're correct.
Are you streaming?
Yeah.
Twitch doesn't say so.
Well, Twitch can suck my ding dong because I'm doing it. It says stop
Oh,
streaming right
it
now.
just went live. It just went live. Oh, it just went live. It just went live.
Well, I can hear your audio coming through, so I know that you're coming in nice and clear. How's the rest of it?
Let me mute you for just a second. Let's see here.
Should be able to hear the music.
D, speak.
Speaking.
Okay, so the stream, I'm nice and loud, but you're comparatively a lot shorter. Or not shorter, but quieter.
What I need to do is just get my mic thrown in there. Boop. Streaming on the fly.
So keep. I gotta deafen you again, but just keep talking. I gotta deafen you again, but just keep talking.
This should help quite a bit, I think. So we're just going to be doing some world building and stuff, because I don't think that Scott's going to be showing up. If that changes, I'll change, but just got to see what it is we'll be doing. Hopefully I'm coming in loud and clear now.
You are about the same, honestly.
Okay.
Wow, nothing's worse than you. I'm coming in loud and clear. No, you're the same. Not much.
Okay. Try this then. How's this?
Honey, that was the best sex ever. I gave you all I had. It was okay.
Okay, let me deafen here so I can listen to the stream for a second.
Do sound. We're gonna turn the volume down. We're gonna make 6.
Yeah, that's much better. I think we're about equal now.
Cool. That's where I want it to be.
What did you think about the fact that the Traveler remade itself?
I think that's actually pretty awesome. I don't know exactly what to like. I actually watched the Destiny 2 from Shadowkeep on up about the darkness, and I watched that.
Oh yeah,
the
My
lore.
name is Mike.
Yeah. So
that guy's awesome.
Yeah.
So can you do me a favor? Can you look at the camera? Because I want Drew to appreciate the expression on your face. Leslie Abner.
I'm already had a bad day.
It's like your kryptonite, man.
He's such a trash human.
Yeah. And she's in the medical profession now.
I mean, considering what I've seen with the medical community, that's about right.
Well, they got to get it from everywhere they can, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that's all. That's all I say. I really wanted Drew to appreciate your facial expression that name causes.
I'm a patient person, you know this, and she tested me.
She tests everybody.
Yeah.
Come on.
Why are we moving around?
We're moving around because it'll help me out. There. You can see the whole.
What we need to do is do some crowdsourcing like we did with Kenny and get Bill a good PC.
Right? Completely.
You can get a fairly decent PC these days for cheap.
Well, D's gonna dust off the one he has in the house, and if it's good, then I'll use it. Well, I'm gonna use it anyway, but if it's good for gaming, then I'll use it.
Nice.
Whenever. It's really not a priority.
Oh, no, it's not a priority. Not at all. It's just a nice.
It's a priority.
Just my emotional needs.
How's it going, Drew? You're looking kind of out of it.
I just got back from my mother's.
Oh, that would do it.
It's her birthday.
Yeah.
She thought she would surprise me by having my brothers there.
Oh, fuck me. Really?
I don't know the history behind that one.
Neither do I. What's the history
I
on
had to
that?
play nice. My wife even told me I had to play nice.
They're fucking ex-con pieces of shit. Does that sum it up?
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
So one of my brothers is a porn star, so I give him credit there.
Oh.
Like he's legit fucks up my Pornhub every once in a while, kind of thing.
Ooh, that would be a little awkward.
It's super awkward. I'll find like, she looks good. I'll get like 30 seconds in. Wait a second. No, we're not watching this.
I recognize that.
God damn. Wow. Buzzkill. All right, 1 second.
The funny
That
thing
would
is
be a
his
buzzkill.
wife. He got married, and his wife. He's 32. His wife is 56.
Wow.
And she owns her own medical consulting company and she's doing all right.
Moist.
But she doesn't know about his past, so I keep that ace in the hole.
Oh, that's going to be a fantastic Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. I had to play nice.
I'm sorry you had to play nice, or I'm sorry you had to deal with that to begin with.
Yeah, and I wasn't allowed to go on my cell phone to play nice. I had to sit there.
Oh man.
I know. But fortunately, my sister was there, and she's always entertaining as hell. What is she, like 4'8"?
4'8" and pretty much high octane explosive in a small flesh bag.
Yeah, just fun. So how's everyone doing?
It's been a day.
Yeah, it has been.
It's been a year.
Oh. I mean,
Any-
Friday the 13th is tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that.
Nice. And Bill, I don't think we have ass wipe on Saturday night. I think we're free.
Yeah, because Scott's doing his trip, and then you're doing your trip the next week.
Yeah, well, we're going to be gone Thanksgiving week. I think the weekend before Thanksgiving we should be free to play. It would be the weekend after Thanksgiving. Is
I honestly don't know what the fuck's going to happen. I'm pretty much at my wit's end, and I don't have fun, and I have little or no desire to play in that game anymore. I've already told Scott that, which is essentially if he fucks around again, I'm pretty much done.
Yeah.
That
Look,
sounds rough.
we gave this guy an opportunity. We rolled new characters with different roles. We took the time to build backstories of how we were all, who was friends with who didn't get along, and we played it where Bill and I, we have a past. We didn't like each other. We played up on that. And we had it where Asswipe and I were old buddies, old comrades, and he's still this guy.
He's a fucking dick to Drew the entire time.
Why?
I couldn't fucking believe it. And not only that, but he decided to drop a really hit. I mean, here's the thing: is I don't mind if a person's drunk gaming is probably some of my fucking favorite, or if you're on a substance, it's probably my favorite. But his personality, I mean, when he gets
worse when he's high.
It's worse when he's high. It's like it ramps his behavior up to like 11 and makes it beyond obnoxious. So,
Well, you should definitely tell me about it, because I'm sure he's had a few people in his day.
it's fucking exhausting dealing with him. I'm just glad we're not having that.
It's hard when you play a character and the other person just always assumes that your character's a fucking idiot and plays it as if that's who you really are, and you're like, dude, like, I'm just playing a character. Like, this is just, I play Ivar. Ivar is this crazy piss poor drunk that we have fun with, but at the end of the day, he's just some piss poor drunk that I pulled out of my imagination.
Right.
Yeah.
He flirts with Riv because I think it's funny as shit.
It is funny. It's Especially her mild disgust.
Oh, exactly. And he's like, man, that just you say no, but really you say yes, kind of thing. This guy doesn't get it. D, we were just talking about this Scott's brother-in-law that, we tried to have it where my character and his character are all war buddies, and he didn't get it at all. This guy just, and I really wish, Bill, that Scott had thrown more at us. He threw 12 at us, and we went right through him. I think he should have thrown like 30 guys at us.
Yeah, I really do.
And forced us all to our knees.
I mean, force them to heal because, either you and I would have gone out of character, say, play your fucking class and heal.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
this guy jumped in and started
detonate.
I mean, just tanking, Ken. And we're like, what are you doing? Like, because my character is the tank. And Bill's character is the tank support with his own nastiness. And this guy's running in ahead of us. Like, we should have just stood back and let him get slaughtered.
Honestly, it's gonna detonate on its own, and that's just the reality. And then
all hail entropy.
We can either move shadows to Saturday, because that would definitely provide more time for Ken, or I can actually get off my ass and finish writing my campaign.
Well,
or at least part 3.
If Scott's Saturday night game falls apart, my wife wants me back on Saturday nights. I don't know why, but maybe take advantage of me or something. I don't know.
Where it was my wife is, I see you enough. Go.
Yeah, my wife said that a few months ago, but now that we're starting to get out more, she wants to see me more. So we're actually stoked. Her dad's taking the boys for the weekend. He came over today and said, I'm bringing the boys tomorrow. Like, oh my God, I'm going to be kid-free for the weekend.
Great. That sounds like something that was required.
Oh, yeah.
I want that so badly right now.
What, someone to take the kids?
Yeah.
Just put them out on the street. They should put a tent in the backyard, and they should go adventuring in the backyard without a parent for 48 hours.
Yeah, no. Corbin, I do not trust. He'll get into anything.
Don't put rat poison in the backyard. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Good old rat poison.
I mean, as much of that playhouse was a 10-hour pain in the ass to build, I'll just send them out there, and and that's the best thing is I actually send them out without coats because it's fucking freezing out here. So if I really want to burn their energy, I make them run in the cold. And then they get back and they're like, "We want to go inside." I'm like, "Okay, you want to sit down under the blankets and warm up there, buddy?" And he goes, "Yeah."
That's great. We brought our friends' kids over yesterday, and the oldest is 7, and he's really hyperactive, and he loves playing Batman. And he's Batman. And my kid loves playing I'm Spider-Man, and he loves like wailing on me, and Daddy don't go hard on his son. I'm not gonna like beat my kid down. But yesterday Batman came to town. I'm like, hey Batman, there's the Joker over there, go have fun. This 7-year-old beat the crap out of my kid. It was great. I'm sitting there watching it, and his mom's like, well, you shouldn't do that. No, he's fine. My son would come over crying, hey man, you wanted to play superhero, you gotta be able to take a hit. Get back in there. Get back in or get out. And at one moment he steps out because they're fighting on the grass lawn, so he steps out of the grass lawn. Batman comes running after. Hey, Batman, he's off the ring. You got to get back in there. All right, buddy, you got to get back in there. My kid went back in, man. He came out bloodied.
Wow.
He gets up this morning. Can we do it again?
Sounds like a kid.
Yeah, totally a kid thing.
Oh. Yeah.
No, I didn't tell Kimmy this, but Corin was hitting his sister, and I've taught her not to be violent because they're not at the age where I want them to understand that concept.
Yeah.
And I just looked at her and like, okay, hit him back. What? If he's not going to listen to either me or you, then hit him back.
Yeah.
And then she hit him back, and I'm like, okay. So how did that feel? It's like, bad. I'm like, okay. That's how you made your sister feel. And then he stopped. Because when you can get through to him, he's really fucking empathetic. I just had to let his sister hit him.
Well, it's all it is a power game. Like right now, the little man Thomas is beating the crud out of Peter, and Peter doesn't like it. And I'm ready to tell Peter to just turn around and sock him. But Heather's told me I can't do that with her around. So I'm gonna wait for one of those days that he just, hey man, your brother's doing that. Give him a good shove.
Nice.
Like it's boys have to be boys, brothers have to be brothers, and they have to learn to beat the crap out of each other, and then pick themselves up and go have a beer.
Or apple juice, as the case may be.
No, I'd probably just give them a beer. Here, boys, have a sip.
Gag.
Though the one thing is, I had to watch out. This kid yesterday, came out. He was going for knee kicks, and I had to come out. I had to kibosh that one. Like, nope, we don't kick knees. No knee kicking. He's like, why? That's what Batman does. Yeah, we don't kick knees here in real life.
Yeah, that's a good way to take someone down.
You only kick knees if they're 6'3". See how it rhymes?
Man,
Yeah,
I just finished.
You can't reach the earlobe.
I just finished the one of the blood rights of the Dresden Files. I'm really getting excited for when the Fallen comes back into play. I really like that storyline.
Which one? Which storyline?
It's like a ley line through one of the other stories, but when he finally gets the coin back out.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. I like their interactions and stuff.
Nice. What about their interactions do you like?
Well, it's good versus evil, but on the inside, it's and also the fact that he ends up feeling empathy for her.
Oh, nice.
So in Dresden Files, the Fallen are bound to the pieces of silver that were given to Judas.
Ooh. They're hunting down the Judas silver.
Well, what they do is they corrupt humans by never taking them over, but just giving them power slowly and having them accept bargains and stuff like that.
Oh, it's basically what they did with the 9.
With the
Nazgul. The Nazgul. They were humans. Sauron gave them a little bit of power here and there, and eventually corrupted their souls and turned them into the
right, exactly.
9.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Hey, what do you get? What do you call it when your father gets mad at you?
What?
Attitude.
Oh, I like that.
I have a fabulous attitude.
Attitude.
I call it Papa Thunder.
Papa Thunder.
Speaking of Pornhub,
one of these days you definitely need to, Bill. You definitely need to play the new God of War game on the PS4.
I saw it.
Don't talk about it, Ken.
good.
I so desperately want to play God of War again, especially with the new one.
Oh god, the new one's so good. Seriously though, I told Bill this. When I was playing it, I just Kratos was Bill. That's it. He has the epic beard, and I could definitely see Bill, getting the tattoos the way he has, and yeah, his stoicism and stuff is just perfect.
So,
Nice.
Bill, if you start bench pressing 300 pounds and really get yourself all shredded up, you go for Kratos as Halloween.
Yeah, Kratos with a gut. Trust me, I've been working on that shit for almost a year now, and I have realized that that my body in its recovery period with the surgery weight will never go away.
So, I would just say it's you're realistic, Kratos, because you've got dad bod, and since he's a dad, I mean, he did get a little bit slow. Just a little.
Oh, you know what's really fucking funny? You know, the bodybuilder, kind of the gut goes out, but it's almost solid muscle right there.
Yeah.
So because of the breathing exercises, it's been shaping that area into that kind of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I got I got the lumberjack stomach now.
Nice.
Because of those breathing exercises and everything else, and it's fucking hilarious. Because I look at him like, that doesn't. I mean, it looks like fat, and there's fat there, but you can't see the six pack. You just know it's fucking there. But yeah, no, seriously, those breathing exercises, fuck, they just
I've
they
been
train
trying.
the shit out of your stomach.
There's some brutalness to that, and then doing it outside in the cold air.
Oh, it's fucking
That's why the
fantastic.
Norns are awesome.
Oh, it's
Wim Hof's breathing method. Yeah.
Yeah, the Wim Hof breathing method is beyond fantastic. It is taken care of and eliminated my anxiety entirely.
Wow.
It's non-existent. It has diminished my depression, which is still very, very severe right now, but it's actually manageable now.
Do you know what's weird about it to me? Like every single time, like he talks about the inflammation, right? Because I've done a lot of like watching and stuff. I've seen some of his videos and things because I've been doing it now for almost 2 weeks. Yeah, I've been doing it for 2 weeks now. And like outside of the fact that there's like long-term effects that just persist when you're actually doing it, like without any cold showers or the rest of it, like there are just things that persist. And so, like, one of the things is that you're just stabilized. Like, you're actually sort of centered out most of the time. So you don't feel like you're just going off the cliff 24/7. So there's that. But the part about it that makes me laugh is that especially if I go for an extended period of time, so if I do, like, I don't know, 15 rounds or something like that, and I just go around and around and around the bend like that, I come out of it, even with just 3, though, like, I come out of it and my limbs... Like, whenever I go to bend my arms, like, my knees don't pop. So my knees don't pop, my elbows don't pop, my wrists don't pop, my carpal tunnel is not nearly as prevalent. Like, I'm not gaining any extra flexibility, but the remaining flexibility that I had before I turned into old man is now available. And there's, like...
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah. Like, you just feel, like, decompressed, like, literally.
I will use my old man powers against you.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is, it's inflammation is the key, and the controlled hypoxia that swimmers and when Drew's, because the runner's high. So essentially, when Wim Hof is about inducing the runner's high, controlled in a sitting position.
Huh.
It's some nice stuff.
Oh, have you tried some of it?
Yeah, I've started trying that, and I've started integrating it in my morning. I do morning stretches and core exercises, and so I've added it as part of my whole routine. Because if I don't do that, my day doesn't go well.
Well, I mean, it's like, and that's the thing is when I have episodes of the depression, they hit. I'll just sit down for like a quick 3 rounds, boom, done.
Wow.
And then when you integrate the cold showers,
That's the best part of waking up,
oh, absolutely.
I take them at night right before I go to sleep.
Do them in the morning when you wake up, and then before you go to sleep. Like do a cold shower in the morning, and then do a couple rounds, and then do a cold shower in the evening, and then do a couple rounds.
Yeah, I can only do cold showers after I've done a really hard workout. Honestly, I like scalding showers. If I can't get third-degree burns, the shower's not hot enough.
Wow. Okay.
That's the with the Wim Hof. You start off like the first week. Was it like 5 seconds or 10 seconds the first week?
It's 5 seconds,
you add-
and then it ever increases. So you do 10 seconds the day after, 15. You just go up by 5s.
At this point, if I'm just going in for like a quick recharge, I'll do like 1 minute in like freezing cold. And then if I'm doing like a regular shower, then it'll just be like a 3-minute shower in freezing cold.
Right now, I'm trying to get to a point where I can actually sustain the cold because I can get right down to just where there's like just a little bit of the heat in it, right? I shot
Well,
you
I
with a
mean,
sniper.
the outdoor meditation will actually help as well.
Meditation is an excellent technique. I've been doing that since college.
But when you do Wim Hof and just like some shorts and a t-shirt, because I'm not ready for my nipples to hit that cold. Because
Yay!
it's like hitting 30 degrees right now.
Yikes.
But I'll do about 15 minutes in that. And then when I get done with that, I mean, it's like almost all conscious thought stops. And everything, you said, everything centers. Everything goes completely mellow.
Yep, I was able to hit that point directly once. But the problem is that I had to take a step back because I was starting to hit the Wim Hof method like... Well, I'm not going in there. I was starting to hit the Wim Hof method like it was, I don't know, like some kind of a marathon. So I was like, I need to step back a little bit. Just a little. Because it's not like jumping about and trying to find every possible way to like do this harder, better, faster, stronger. It's just like let yourself kind of do it, and then whenever I like eased into it, I was able to like get the same kind of leveling where like right round 3, which I was like, because it felt like round 3 was nothing. And then I was like, that seems a bit odd, but, like now I can induce the same sort of controlled hypoxia state within 3 rounds as opposed to having to do like 10 to get to where I was.
I was forcing myself to like try to hit that 3-minute mark with that breath hold.
Yeah.
And then I kind of stopped and I'm like, no, I'm trying to do that. It's like inducing a little too heavily. So I'm like happy at like 2 minutes, and then by fifth round I'll get to 2 minutes and 30 seconds with no air, and then I'll just go from there, and I'm perfectly happy with that. I mean, I think at some point I'll probably hit 3, but I mean, it's helped.
Well, and we got to remember,
like, I'm able to breathe through here when I've always had problems with that. That's fucking gone now.
Wow, that's crazy.
I've reduced my my dependence on inhalers. Except when I watched the Letterkenny episode and laughed so fucking hard, I triggered a severe asthma attack.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, no. They basically refined the dick joke, and they ran it for about 30 minutes, and I was just laughing so hard I was having a fit. Because it's basically they were just like the Mennonites. It's like, hello, I'm a Noah Dick with a Y. This is my wife, Anita Dick. Have you seen our daughters, Chastity Dick and Charity Dick?
Nice.
That's like the Big Red Johnson jokes.
Oh my God! It was just anyway. So yeah, sorry if Drew and Ken, you have to hear.
No, it's all right. I just tried the technique to see how long I can go. I hit 1:14 and exhaled.
Is that what it is?
Dee and I tend to kind of gush about it because the benefits that we've both received have been tremendous, and it's all, and it's something that's like it's finally finding a meditation technique that works.
Well, that works for you.
Yeah, and it works for me.
Well,
like,
the funny thing is it can work for everybody. Like the fact that everybody can go through this, do it the first time and be like, what the hell was that? As opposed to like nothing to crap on, say like Tibetan techniques or any kind of like Eastern techniques of any sort. Like they all have their premise, they all have their, but it seems like it starts like even from the people that I've actually been listening to for a long time, they're all about, they basically say learn to use the body as your as your guidepost. And the reason why you want to use your body as a guidepost is because your body never lies to you. Like, if something's uncomfortable, it's freaking uncomfortable. Like, it doesn't fib. It doesn't try to give you any kind of exaggeration. It just tells you what is. So you can really rely on what your body is doing. So that's fine. If you try to go at it...
Most people lie about their bodies. They won't listen.
Yeah. So that's what the mind does. That's the problem. So meditation, in a lot of cases, you have to sit there and screw with the mind. Well, the mind fucks with you. And so if you don't have enough distance between yourself and what you're thinking, like if you don't go like, okay, this needs to shut off, or, you know, basically what my thoughts are not me. If you can't do that, if you can't separate, you know, thoughts and self, if you can't separate those two things, something comes up, and it doesn't matter if it's like a sudden fantasy about becoming like a necrobestial-philiac, like pyrophiliac even. Just like, you know, like, I like to have sex with burning dead creatures. And it's like, you'll sit there and think, oh, that must be a part of me somehow. I must be one screwed up SOB. And it's like, no, it's just a random thought. Like, it took a whole bunch of concepts with words attached to it, mushed them together, and it basically made you squirm. And that's what the thought's after. It makes you want to do, like, it just makes you... Yeah, so it's always playing tricks on you all the time. So it's never completely honest.
That's one of the hardest things to do, is to get to a point where you can clear your mind. That's why you get in a lot of Eastern tradition the use of the Om. Om.
That's harmonic resonance. That's why deep percussive things, because what it's doing is it's causing your blood flow to change.
Yeah.
There's been enough studies with harmonic resonance and that type of thing. Like
That's
the
kind of
whole kind of, yeah.
I mean, cats are a specific frequency to induce like bone knitting and stuff. The cats will actually purr when they break their limbs and stuff.
That's why cats are so good in nursing homes, because it's that kind of that harmonic resonance that's kind of occurring.
The good shit.
And Shadows has now become. Yes.
Yeah.
Gotta meditate.
Hey, at least we're not writing a grant proposal.
I've already dumped the water in there, so you should be good. So you can turn on more hot if you need to spruce it up. Boy, we lost so hardcore. What? The thing about all the rest of it, so like the Wim Hof method works only because it literally deals with the root of the situation. So we are connected to this world with the physical body, so if we start there, it's fine. Because otherwise it's like starting up halfway and going like, well, hopefully the rest of it, like, that just kind of collapses for most people, because they don't have they're not pliable at the start. They're usually, you know, if you get them when they're an older person, especially, that's where you run into real problems, because then they have all these ideas, and all these ideas get in their way, and they start going like, this isn't correct. You can't do that. It doesn't make any sense. Why the hell would I do that? No, like, the whole can't teach an old dog new tricks is exactly what they run into. So they start just kind of like, dar, 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 dar. So you punch them in the head with Wim Hof, you're like, oh, fuck, it works. It's like, yeah, you don't have to think about it. That's what we want you to do. Stop thinking.
Stop it, Ron. Stop.
Jesus. Well, and it does it through the basic principles of hitting your fear responses, which is suffocation and the cold.
Sounds terrifying.
It's really not. You guys kind of slip into a serious, like, peaceful mindset. It's really awesome.
I feel like I'd go into a coma if I was any more peaceful.
I think that's just sleepy, Ken, not necessarily peaceful.
That's only terrifying if you let Wim do it. Jesus, I've seen some of the induced sessions where he's gotten people to 3 minutes, and their bodies are just spasming because of the holding it so much that they just kind of pass out for a second. And that's the kind of the threshold point where it becomes a little bit interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a mild way of putting it. But for my own, it's like with the cold and menting. I'm like, I've been rocking shorts and a t-shirt and just walking in 40-degree weather and just like, no, I'm happy with my boat shoes. But I could not have done that a month and a half ago. Because I started doing this about a month and a half ago, and it's taken me training my body with breath and cold to get to the point where I'm actually pretty comfortable in the cold.
So
Yeah, but one of the hard things to do, it's being able to sustain it. To make it become habitual, to become part of your character, that's much more difficult.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing is I let myself slip for like 2 days of not doing it, and boom, everything came back. And it was just, it's like you key your body up to a certain extent. But the moment that I did 3 rounds the next day, everything went right back. So for me, it's not a question of just habituation. It's a fact of necessity. It's just a better quality of life for me.
there's a so you like look at the whole thing with the way that it functions. That you're like, I don't really want to stop doing this because like seriously. But there's a huge drive to do it because once it's like everybody has to do stuff that they don't want. Like everybody thinks about this stuff the same way, and more or less, if you're going to be an athlete, you have to go out there and bust your ass, right? It's always bust your ass.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the preliminary. That is the preliminary thought for all of it. And if your preliminary thought, you say you have to bust your ass, I have to kind of go with Sadhguru a little bit. It's sort of like, it's like, why do you? It's like you shouldn't work harder. You should just work joyfully. And it's like you should just be happy about what you're doing. Like regardless, it doesn't matter what it is. If you work joyfully, then you're not going to have to work hard ever in your life, and you'll do better than you ever did in your life. So it's one of those like people just have this silly thing in their head, that same problem of thinking too much, where they just kind of get in their mind where it's like, yeah, this has to be hard. I have to suffer like that, and it's just sort of like, no, you don't have to suffer. As a matter of fact, that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I've been training athletes now for 20 years, and you get kids like that who just they drive themselves, and you have to have a certain degree of push, but you have to realize after a 3-week period you plateau.
Yeah.
And then you have to up the intensity, and you have to alternate. Like I'll see kids who every day they come in and all they do is bench press every day. I'm like, you're nuts. Like you're gonna fatigue your muscles. You're gonna kill yourself. If you want to build some strength, here's what you do. And the only thing that throws me off is they look at me because I'm not a really big guy. Because I spend more time toning than I do muscle building because I think looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger is disgusting. But Conan the Barbarian, I could do that.
Yeah.
Conan.
Well.
Coney.
Yep. So, actually, to drag the conversation into actual like world building, etc. The
Fucking shadows.
what did we do? What did we end up doing like last campaign? Even like for some reason
That was the scarecrow. I called it the scarecrow hunt.
Oh, that's right. We ended up kind of having a weird split.
We were manipulating the elements.
Yeah.
Fire powers combined, fuckery will begin.
That's about accurate.
Yeah, that was you guys won the night. Is what I heard.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
It was actually a really good Super Brawl. I mean,
Well,
if you
it
kinda-
was. Yeah, go on, Phil. You can tell the
Go
tale.
on.
It
That
was
was
your
it.
story.
Tell
just
it.
a good fucking Super Brawl.
Yeah, dude, John opened up. The cult of personalities just came out and said, "Motherfucker," and just opened up with pure imaginative power.
I've really been wanting to play with the magic system a little bit. because the other mechanics of the character are actually pretty easy. But when you get into the unholy arcane or the mystic power element that exists within Shadows, it's really about taking certain components, the forms of prime, matter, forces, entropy, fate. I can't remember the others off the top of my head. Life. There's a few others, but like you just kind of make these formulas of spells. Like, okay, so what would I put into the spell? Okay, does that make sense? What's in my environment? Am I drawing from what source? What's my source? How am I utilizing the source? Do I accept the consequences of the utilization of that power? Because magic in and of itself has to deal with what Ivar has to deal with in an extreme case, because Ivar is all paradox, right?
His powers are all paradoxical. They
So magic's the same way. It will, on some level, create paradox. On some level, if it gets large enough in scale. So if I were to use time manipulation with entropy and fate, 3 of those spheres, and then use prime to kind of bump up the power, I could distort all time and reality. Well, what's the natural consequence? Again, back to Shadows. What's the natural consequence? So paradox acts as Shadow's natural consequence within the magical world. So there
Solely
might be
adopted
a point
out of Mage the Ascension, for sure.
So there might be a point when John is utilizing Unholy Arcane, and he does something so big, it has a reaction.
Well, it's just anytime he creates any kind of like effect that botches, the paradox builds up. And the thing about that is that paradox can work in one of 2 ways. It can either go off right then and there, or it'll stack. And it, like if paradox doesn't happen immediately, like if you botch and there's no reaction, then that just means that the next time you botch, it could be like worse, because it just
That sounds nice.
yeah, because it'll stockpile.
Yeah. So Drew, you notice how I utilized things within the environment? Well, there's a reason you utilize things within the environment, because I'm not creating it from scratch.
Also
Ivar creates shit from
down.
scratch all the time. That's like Ivar's bread and butter. Like, if this has never existed, I will make happen.
Yeah, and that's the thing
This
about
thing
it.
does not belong here. I will bring it forth.
Yeah, the subtlety with him, though, at least, is that whenever he steps out of the area, shit just goes rubber banding back into normal. So he's basically like just kind of a walking, talking reality hiccup. Like, he just goes wandering around and shit just kind of happens, and then...
I can just see him walking down the street, and you watch around him. It's like in the Matrix, where everything's like wobbling, but once Neo walks out, it like puts itself back into place. That to me is Ivar.
That's Ivar.
But he can pull out some cool magic every once in a while. He did like send things down to Kelvin as he froze like something that scared the crap out of him.
Well, you're like the Shadows version of a mage. So
Yeah.
I'd say Riviera is like a rogue or a bard, depending on what's going on there.
She's a sorcerer rogue. She's definitely a cross class if you think about it.
Yeah, really. I don't know what Bill is. I think he's like 3 or 4 different characters.
28.
Bill is a 28?
Yeah.
Well, I know it's 28 actual different characters. I was talking like archetypes. Like, because there's so many different characters, he just hits all the archetypes.
Yeah, no, he's a one-man army.
Just not all at once.
It's basically that's why Douglas brought him in, because he can fit the role of wherever the gap is in whatever shit show Douglas gets him involved in.
I like that Ivar likes the bastard.
Always offering a drink.
I love that Barrick has got his like man crush with Dawnbreaker.
Oh, that's great.
That's fucking
Yeah, rock hard
hysterical.
justice.
Can we have this guy maybe take over?
This guy would be really good on the team. I think we should get him.
I think Lance man.
The gravelly voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Low key Batman.
Or hypey Batman, as the case may be.
If I had it my way, he would be on the team.
During world building night, we just made impressions of Barrick retired.
Oh, what did he do?
Special Agent Leon Barrick retired.
What was it last week? I'm Special Agent Leon Barrick.
Not retired.
Yeah.
1 second. I'm going to try to start my truck so I don't want you to freak out if you hear it over here. It just hasn't been started for.
Oh, he was getting talked to. You back, Drew?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry. Somebody just came walking in here, and I'm like, I'm by myself, and the door's open. I'm like, what's going on?
Surprise!
It wasn't my wife. It wasn't my wife.
That was unexpected.
Yeah. This is a safe space.
Did you hit him with the excuse you?
No, because it's the guy that owns the trailer that I'm sitting in, so I don't
Oh.
say him. It's my father-in-law, so. His truck is parked right out in front. He goes, I'm starting my truck. And I'm like, oh, good to know.
Well, okay then.
Exactly.
Oh, righty then.
So, okay, so like world building mechanics, I kind of have it stuck in my brain. I'm like thinking about the mechanics mostly, but it's like so like what are some of the mechanics you guys have seen so far just by playing it out? You know, as a matter of fact, the only person who really doesn't have any new perspectives per se is just Bill, because he's been in it for a lot longer. But I'm just kind of asking everybody.
Me anymore.
The hell was that?
I don't know.
Don't need me more. That's why I just like got rid of the camera and left.
You know, I did that once in a meeting. I went in and I said, I want that moment where I'm just like, all right, I'm done. And I'm walking out. And we were about half an hour into the meeting. And something came up and I did my spiel. And everyone's laughing like, well, everybody, I'm done. And I walked out the door. And everyone's like, oh, man, that's funny. And then I'm walking and I can hear him. He's not coming back. Well, that's hilarious. Got in my car and left.
Well, I take great joy in getting Scott in the meeting.
Yeah, I'm glad he enjoys it so much. He's definitely been a good, great help in the document. He's got such a great.
I was referring to my meme that I posted that basically had him with his head in his hands and all the people in the meeting going, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I thought that was great.
Oh, that was great.
That was like wonderful timing, Bill. Wonderful timing.
Oh, we've been
Yeah.
doing that to each other for years. It's just a point of pride to see if we can get him in an awkward spot, because Scott always has stuff going on at work that he shouldn't have going on.
I mean, that's the best part about working at home, right? Like, yeah, you know,
much.
I'm able to listen to shows and stuff like that if I want. I'm sure, D, you partake in plenty of helpful materials.
Oh, all the time. I'm
Yeah.
usually like listening to like YouTube or podcasts or writing in the document or doing like written text-based games. Like I'm always doing something.
It definitely makes the day go by faster, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I think there's a good there's a good part of that thankfully has not been much of an issue as of late, just because, you know, the whole
I love it.
centering oneself, etc., has been able to like stall the horrifying crap that you have to deal with on a daily work basis.
Okay, this is really sad. So I've devised a way that builds in extra credit into my grades for my students, because I'm doing my report cards right now. And I forgot to calculate it in to their actual overall grade, so I'm calculating it in right now. And for some kids, it's swinging their grade. It's like these kids are always participating, they're getting involved. And the rest of the kids, their shitty grades are still sitting at shitty grades. Okay, I gave you an opportunity to get extra credit. And it could swing your grade 1/3 of a letter grade. And you don't even have to do anything except improve. That's it.
Extra credit.
Yeah. Show me you've improved, and I'll give you extra credit.
What is it that you teach again?
I teach a lot of different shit.
What are your
What do
main
they tell
ones then?
I teach this year, so I change every year what I'm teaching. This year I'm teaching AP Government, I'm teaching Government Economics, I'm teaching Philosophy. And in some years I teach U.S. History and PE. And sometimes when they want to be mean and cruel to me, they'll give me English. But then I end up having a lot of fun in English, and they take me out of it and send me back to history.
As is tradition.
Yeah, and then I coach. I've been coaching cross country, flag football, and track and field for about 20 years now.
Well, that is an interesting amalgam of different things.
I'm eclectic in my ways.
Are you excited about the coup that's being perpetrated right now in the U.S.?
Oh yeah, I was the keynote speaker for the school newspaper. They were doing a podcast on the current political comings and goings, and so the kids invited me in, and they gave me their questions ahead of time. And some of them were like, they were asking, like, what is your opinion on teachers that give their opinions in class? And I'm like, oh.
I'll tell you my opinion about giving.
There's actually laws on this. Let me go look those up. And I went and looked them up, and I'm like, and it's basically whenever I'm interviewed or working with students, I'm not legally allowed to give my personal opinion. I have to give both sides of an issue. And even in a school paper, newspaper interview, if they ask me what am I thinking, I have to basically play the opposite of what they think I'm thinking. And so these kids are asking me these loaded questions about the election that, their evidence was lacking, but I've read a lot of the evidence, so they got to the correct conclusion. And I'm just like, President Trump does have a right to not concede the election. He doesn't have to until it becomes official, and he can challenge it because it's really, really close. And the kids got me on the one, and I kept a straight face. But what about all the ignorant Americans and the stupid Americans that voted for him? Well, I really don't think they think they're ignorant. I think they think they're ignorant. And I watched this poor girl who thought she had this clever statement just like drop right there. I'm like, ooh. But she was recording, so I didn't want to apologize. So I just like, the press needs to not ask silly questions. But yeah, no. Trump and everything that's going on is the gift that keeps on giving. It's like every day starts with, so here's what happened yesterday on the drama.
Yeah. Situation report.
Yeah, pretty much. We're doing, I'm making my kids investigate like fake news and how do we figure out what's fake news versus real news. And almost every kid goes, I get my news off of social media. I look at one source, so that's how I know it's true, because everybody on social media says it's correct.
Gross.
Yeah, that's how you know
exactly.
you don't have the right stuff.
Yeah. Like, so you don't look at multiple sources from different, reputable news sources. No, I get it off my social media. Oh.
Have you been hearing about all the boomers leaving for, what is it, Perler or whatever? Or conservatives? There's like a new social media that says that it's all about freedom of speech or whatever. And all of the apparently all the conservatives are quitting Facebook to go over there so they can all just be in their echo chamber without being persecuted or whatever.
It's the problem everywhere. Even liberals are in their own sort of echo chamber.
Yeah.
No, it's all
what's
siloing
going
out because everybody's trying to rip everybody else a new one. That's the dumb part to me. It doesn't matter
Yeah,
what's
right.
happening with the elections or who you swing with or any of that. It's like nobody can talk. Like the worst part is that nobody can say anything without having an entire mob thrash you, and it doesn't matter what your opinion is or what your perspective is. Because like an opinion's one thing. If they're like assholes, everybody's got one. So it's just like that's just the way it works. So having an opinion or even getting into an argument about one is stupid to begin with. But if you have a perspective to offer, you're like, okay, this is the reason why I think this is going in this direction, or any other way of like putting it out there when you're like basing it in a civil discourse type way. If you're doing that and you can get torn up from both sides, it's like, what the fuck is the point? It's like, so they do.
Yeah,
they all go into their little cliques because they can't interact with each other. They become really infantile.
Yeah. I mean, look, I saw Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi put a statement out today about everything that's going on. And I'm like, your rhetoric is the same rhetoric that you're complaining about on the other side.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing the same thing. Knock that shit off. And it's
Well-
I mean,
Yeah. What do you expect? They're just this. It's the same old broken record.
it's sound bites.
And then they attack the progressives and say like, well, you don't know how this works, and the progressives are going, well, because it doesn't work. You've proven that. And
Pretty much.
I'm sorry, Pelosi and Feinstein just need to go. They just. There was an interesting article, and I know Drew probably read it. This guy who is saying that it was the Democrats that really truly created kind of Trumpism and all this stuff by focusing on language that calls the Republican base deplorables, or focusing on like utilizing the opposition's rhetoric against them as a reaction instead of taking the higher ground. Says, well, no, it's basically balanced. I'm getting an argument with my wife over this apparently.
You
But it's the fact that when it doesn't matter which side doesn't matter which side does it. See, I'm being neutral. But when you start going, it's just like, oh, the libertards. Well, that's going to trigger somebody who's liberal. Like, I'm not fucking retarded, you asshole.
What about the guys who are actually retarded? They can be offended too. They're not liberal.
This is exactly it, though. Like, that's a perfect example. Like, all this stupid crap. Like, everybody starts getting into the minutia. It's just sort of like...
but it's the reactionaryism of our politics. It's the fact that, and what this guy was saying was the fact that, the Democrats really failed in taking the higher ground when they had an opportunity to do so. And if they did so, they would have completely demolished the Republican argument. It was an article. It was a perspective. Christ sakes.
Oh, Obama has spoken. President Obama just released a statement about what's going on. Obama says, the Republicans clearly know what's better. It's very obvious that they're just trying to humor Trump about voter fraud, and we'll turn on him once this gets cleared up.
Yeah.
And they will. I mean, Fox News has already done it. But
Yeah.
Fox News is they're being bipolar about it. They're saying like, oh no, we must defend it. But he really lost. But we must defend it.
Because they
But
don't
he
want
really
to
lost.
lose the viewer.
Yeah, but Bill, I sent you an article that I read tonight that it's not about the conceding. It's the damage that he's doing by not conceding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Can't
damage
stand that.
the fact that you're going to have at the end of this, even when he concedes, he sowed the seeds of people who actually believe our electoral system doesn't work. And right now, the Republicans, here's a good one. Here's a new one. They're trying to change who the electors are in the Electoral College.
I've heard
Called
that.
it. They've been working on that for the past 2 years.
We just need to
Now
strip
they're
that
gonna
whole
be
layer.
aggressive.
That
about
violates
it.
all the work they've been doing about faithless electors.
Yeah, I love that how he's stuffing everything with loyalists. It's like okay.
That's
Oh
why
yeah.
I started the
I mean, you've got officials in the Pentagon who are really concerned about the replacements that Trump just put in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all you have to do is on day one, because executive orders can be overturned by the next administration. They're not binding. They're only as binding as long as the president doesn't want to change them. All you have to do is have the Biden administration. I want start reviewing them now. Give me the big ones right now. I'll sign them. As soon as he takes the oath, give me a piece of paper. I'll sign these right now. I'm overturning them and throwing them out.
And I think my favorite thing has been so far just because it doesn't matter like how you lean politically. I think most people objectively can agree that the orange man needs to go. If they're not looking for power. Anyway, you
I love
look
how
at,
that's qualified right there. You're gonna be looking for power. Oh, looking for power.
I mean that says a lot, right? But if you look at like just taking a smattering of like how the social media presence of either men on Veterans Day, it just shows a lot of their character, what they believe in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
social
you
media
definitely look at their characters and it gets you an understanding. I think I read one of the articles I read I think it was in the Atlantic actually, which was really impressive. They said this is that Donald Trump really did capture something that was going on in the United States. He read the country correctly in a way that the Democrats and the other Republicans hadn't. And then add to it what the Russians did. The Russians just pushed him over the top. Like he was close to that finish line without the Russian interference. They just gave him that extra boost to get past Hillary Clinton. And it's this idea that, there's a lot of parts of this country that are really hurting and no one's really helping them. Go to Detroit, go to Cleveland, go to the Midwest. That part of the country's hurting, and they've been hurting for decades. And politicians have been treating them like shit. Flint, Michigan, great example.
The biggest deal about all this is that's kind of where I'm at. Like, okay, so Biden's got it, great. Trump is out of there, great. Hopefully there's going to be something that shows that the system's not completely asleep at the wheel whenever he does finally get out.
dragged out of the office.
Yeah, like whenever that happens, hopefully there's something that's going to be kind of there waiting for him to sort of like, you really screwed this up, and there's consequences for that. So, it's not necessarily that I'm even like, he's at the end of his life, so it's like anything that gets thrown at him is pretty much going to be short-lived regardless. It's like, I don't know, I might almost like say, yeah, let him like create an entirely different house out there in the middle of one of his own golf courses. He can just stuff his face with chicken nuggets and go golfing for the rest of his life out of nowhere. He can just like
As long as he does it, he keeps his mouth shut because
they have like all of his phones and anti-Twitter.
A lot of security experts are kind of freaked out because he knows stuff and he does not like to keep his mouth shut.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right there. He's not been stripped of any powers of the president. He will be a president for the rest of his life. That's he falls in the category of Bill Clinton. You were impeached, but we didn't convict you. But will he go away quietly? And I think he'll use the argument that Obama didn't go away quietly, so I don't have to. Whereas you look at it, it wasn't until very late that you started seeing ex-presidents coming out. I mean, Jimmy Carter made a statement about this guy's got to get out. George Bush got as close as he could without stepping on the toes of the high-ups in the Republican Party to say this guy shouldn't be president. I mean, that's a damning thing for ex-presidents to come out and condemn a president. We don't do that in this country.
Well, we do now, but the only thing I'm concerned about right now, when it comes down to it, is that because the pendulum will always swing. Every time you fucking hurl that bitch as hard one side, it'll swing just as hard the other way, sooner or later. Which I kind of feel like this is the swing in the other direction, because it's like I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican, I'm just human. So I want somebody who's in the office who can do the same damn thing. And so it's like, know the difference between creating a policy that's going to, like, elevate our wages but not contribute to a certain amount of inflation, and try to figure out how to make that work, and at the same time not locking kids up in a warehouse. Like, they should be able to do those two things in a balanced fashion without going completely crazy.
No. Everybody knows the children in those factories are what keeps our economy going.
So, but I'm just too concerned. I'm really concerned that that he's not going to be punchy enough. Like, I don't want a regular good old fashioned version of just, this is, it's like, we hit stupid town with the president that's leaving. It's like, we need super smart high octane action person to be in there to do more or less the same thing.
He's the Band-Aid.
Right.
That's the thing, is he's the Band-Aid, and the intention is that Kamala will be the high octane.
Right.
Well, here's the thing, though.
God, if she were president, man, could you imagine?
I equate him to what Jerry Brown did in California. So California got itself into quite a little tiffle about 2008, 2010, where we went so far off into la land of borrowing money and spending money and just changing how we run our government to balance, give power to one side and another. Jerry Brown stepped up and said, hey, I'm going to run for governor again. And he ran, and he was governor of California back in the 70s. And his dad was governor for like 20 years back in like the 40s and 50s. And he walked in on day one and started looking around and says, what the hell have you guys been doing for the last 30 years? Because you completely screwed up how this system works. And then set about putting the state back to how it once ran. And then all of a sudden the state started running smoothly again. And we had all this money. And I'm really hoping that Joe Biden, guy first gets elected in 1970. He's a senator by 73. That he remembers how the system is supposed to work. That he goes in and says, we need to put the system back. And we need to start fixing things.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that Georgia comes through and gives the Senate Democratic majority so that Biden can actually do something. Otherwise, bitch face McConnell is going to stop everything.
You're talking about a southern state. When the hell do southern states go liberal? And
they're still in the runoffs. They're gonna get one of the runoff seats. So Democrats are gonna get one of the runoff seats. Yes, they have way too much of a majority. There's too much voter turnout right now going on in that state. The other one is on the edge. It's on the favor of the Republican, but only by.
You know how much money the super PACs are going to be throwing at this?
Oh yeah, a tremendous amount. So I mean, there's the potential for the one seat to flip.
Look, you want to see a massive change? Fuck climate change. Fuck the racism shit. Fuck all that. You need to go and do campaign reform. You got to get rid of the super PACs.
You got to get super PACs. You got to get rid of the gerrymandering. You've got to get rid of.
Well, the gerrymandering right now. Look, the Republicans control most state legislatures. They get to draw the lines, and they called the census early. And la-di-di-da, 3 days ago, it was discovered that in certain states, members that were filling in census stuff were told by higher ups to start filling in bubbles to help benefit other states. There's fraud in the U.S. Census.
Oh, massive fraud.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Yeah.
Well, that's also being revealed right now that in some of the battleground states for state and federal elections, that the dark horse candidates that were coming in were actually paid by super PACs. So there was a tremendous amount of dark money coming into these literally dark horse candidates to pull away votes in places where they knew it was going to be right on the edge.
Yeah, I mean, look, we have to deal with campaign financing. That is such a big threat because there's so much money in now with officials. By the way, Bill, did you hear who's going to run? Biden wants to run the Commerce Department. Meg Whitman. Remember Meg Whitman? Meg Whitman tried to buy the governorship in California. She spent $210 million, and the Californians said, "You can't buy our election."
Nah.
Why the fuck would he choose her?
He's trying to get Republicans in his cabinet. He wants balance. He wants diversity. He wants everyone talking again.
The only way we're
And
gonna get like
I have a feeling
Meg fucking Whitman. That's just about as bad as putting the boys in charge of students. Just
I can
as
tell
bad.
you this, here's the best part. This announcement comes out not long after he had a private conversation with Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell and him are old buddies. I think he's brokering a deal with Mitch. I will give you this, but I want that. And I'm interested to see if Mitch McConnell is going to stand in the way as abrasively as he's done with Obama.
Didn't he already say he was going to? Like, I thought he came out like right after Biden won and was like, I'm gonna, stop everything I can.
He's been very quiet. He came out a little bit, but for the most part, Mitch McConnell hasn't said anything. He did come out in support of Trump, but hasn't said anything. But what I find is interesting, Mitch McConnell was at Joe Biden's wedding, and Mitch McConnell was the only Republican to attend his son's funeral.
So you think it might have some history.
You don't, I could say, hey, you show up to someone's wedding, 30-odd years ago, but then to also show up to somebody's son's funeral, and you're the only one of the opposing party to show up, there's a friendship there, or there's some relationship. That's not something you just do.
no.
So, what do you think, D? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that he might be trying to do a parlay. That could be it. That might be it. Because he keeps talking about the whole diversity thing, whatever. The sad truth of it all is that no matter what bridges he intends to extend, like, he can't... So here's the problem whenever I start thinking about it. If you were to go like, okay, I'm going to start putting it all in there, it goes right back into, like, pendulum swing momentum issues. Like, if he just suddenly stockpiles a shitload of Democrats in opposition, then it just creates a war. It creates a war you don't see, doesn't take bullets. It's a media war. It's a bullshit war that happens without any gunfire. So if he draws battle lines and says that only the Democrats have got anything to say about it, he'll antagonize and alienate, the rest of the... he'll basically do the same thing to the Republicans that had happened to the Democrats whenever Trump was in office. And it sounds to me like he's doing a smarter play, which is like, let's get a bit more inclusive in the traditional sense by having more people involved, even if they don't completely see the way things should be based on what we say they should be, which is all well and good. The only thing is that if he's the one who's going to be technically putting that kind of control in there, this is where it becomes a razor's edge issue. It's like, okay, decide where you're going to put your diversifications and make sure that whoever it is you put in certain key points, that they have the best interests in mind as best as you can predict it. Because otherwise, it just becomes a royal shit show all over again. With a total...
is competent. I mean, that's the thing, is you can pull from the other side of the aisle and have that balance, but make sure that they're competent.
Yeah.
That's my that's why I'm having the reaction I am to Meg Whitman.
Okay. Well, here's another one that he's talking about.
Find somebody who's competent. What's
Bernie
that?
Sanders. Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders are top picks to go into into cabinet positions. Bernie Sanders is expected to take the labor spot, and Elizabeth Warren is one of the top picks for the Treasury.
Okay. Well, here's the converse coin. Who do they have somebody strong enough to take their seats?
They're Democratic governors. They'll put another Democrat in. It doesn't matter in that sense because they're hoping that it's going to be the Senate will be so close that you might be able to peel off one or two Republicans to cross the aisle.
Well, Collins will flip-flop, given enough pressure.
Yeah. I mean, but it's ultimately what policy can be done that's ultimately going to benefit the American people. They have to deal with the COVID crisis. They have to deal with the fact that our economy is being gutted right now, along with the rest of the world's economy. And
by the way, Nurse Nick says that when the shot comes out, expect it to be fucking cold.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
because they have. Because they have to store it at negative 70 degrees just to make it viable. So when you get the shot, both of them, it's going to be a little chilly.
That's going to be interesting. Yeah, you put a negative 70 degree anything inside your body, you're going to feel it's going to hurt.
Wim Hofing it up, people. You're going to be like,
hey, I'm prepping.
Oh, that's warm! What are you talking about? It's negative 70 degrees.
What's that? I'm sorry. My wife said because she heard me tell her about the shot when I was talking. She's like, "So I'm gonna die of COVID." She does not like cold.
Yeah, I keep telling people around here to be like, you need to take cold showers every day. Like I've been telling my kids the same things. It's like you should take a cold shower, try it out. Because, it's not just me running around going like, do the thing, I haven't tried it. But, it's like I've done it, and there's like this huge impact that it has, like immediately during and after. And you can't help but find yourself just a little bit more stable because you've challenged yourself to do something you didn't think you could do. And I get the same...
that wasn't your first reaction. Your first reaction was, I'm silky smooth.
Yeah, that was my first reaction. Because my skin oils are doing what they're supposed to. Guess that hot water is just fucking it up. But I was telling my kids the same thing. It's like, yeah, I should be trying to take cold showers. And everybody gives me the same response. It's like, I'll just hurt more. And it's like, for a second, yeah, you're going to hurt more. You're not walking into non-pain. That's what cold does. It's like you sit there and resist it. Your body begins to start to adapt to it. I've done this very same thing. There is a reaction that occurs when you take these cold showers. They suck, but once you get past that point of succulation, then you're actually past that and into something awesome.
Yeah.
Succulation.
Yes.
We go to the mountains every year.
Must properly succulate.
My wife's family owns
a good amount of land up in the Sierra Nevadas, and one of the major rivers of California flows through their property, and they have a swimming hole in it. So we go swimming there in the summers, and that water is, you go out in the morning, you're on a hot day, that water is in the 40s, 50 degrees. It's cold mountain water, and you jump in it, and man, that first moment it hits you, you're jarring of like everything hates you, and then you come up and you start moving, and you're like, this sucks, and then you're fine. Same with cold shower. You jump in, that first shock is one of whew.
All right, 1 second.
Trebek. I liked all the memes that came out from Sean Connery and Trebek.
Oh yeah.
Two greats were lost.
Yeah.
They had the meme that says, your answer was Jeopardy. Yes. What's epic? We are. This year can just... It'll be nice to see if there's a bright light at the end of the tunnel that's not an oncoming train.
That will be nice.
I'll be right back.
Omelette du fromage.
Oh, way. I've been employing cooking techniques from Food Wars.
Cooking techniques?
Yeah, from the show, and they're fucking amazing.
Like
They
what?
finished the recount in Arizona. Biden
Yeah.
has officially won Arizona.
Oh, that's nice.
So we can get to watch them lose again.
That's what a lot of people was like. Let them recount. We can watch them lose again.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, God, Joe Biden should have just waited and said, hey, thank you for noting. The current president would like a recount. Please recount. I'm convinced that we're gonna win, but we can have a recount. Sure, let's do it again. Hey, you know what? I'll let you throw 10% of them out. I'll give them to you. Take it to you. With that big old smile he's got. Joe Biden's got a smile that just like goes for days.
Larky.
I love Stephen Colbert's impression of him. He puts on the mirror glasses.
Oh, I honestly think Jim Carrey's impression of Biden is amazing.
Loser.
Because he just
The-
that last one, it says, and we just want to say something. Le who, the her. So Ken, the technique I employed was I was baking a cake for my kids for Rohana's birthday.
Mhm.
So I separated the egg yolk from the egg white, and I aerated the white, the egg white. Got it really like bubbly, like it wasn't viscous anymore.
Shit, I'm
Like
2 days
I-
off on her birthday. Happy birthday, goddaughter.
There's me.
In the show,
You're cutting out, Bill.
oh, my wife's shooting me messages at the same time. So, and then I add a little bit of oil and a little bit of water to get it even more aerated. And then I added the egg yolk, got all mixed. And then I had the rest of the water and the oil. And the cake just came out completely fluffy and bouncy as shit. I mean, it
That's
just
awesome.
goes, and it goes ding, 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 ding.
Give it a little tap.
And then I I was watching a recent episode because I rewatched it, where he cooked some tempeh. I'm like, oh fuck, I use tempeh all the time. I'll try that. Oh, just marvelous. So I love
Research on that apparently.
I just love how that show just actually employs real techniques.
Yeah, and yet they still make it completely wild.
And that's putting it mildly.
It's a great show.
It's
You
over the
definitely-
top, and it's a gigantic inside joke in of itself.
What do you mean?
The fact that they go so over the top with their reactions.
Oh
The
yeah,
fact that they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what it's like. It's like, yeah, we could target it towards that audience, and they're a little bit creepy. But no, we're gonna make fun of the genre by going so far over the top that it just ends up rebounding and making fun of itself.
yeah. It's most.
Oh. It's like it uses a trope. Oh, I can't believe they use that trope. No, I'm not surprised they use that trope.
It's I just love, like you said, the overtop reactions. Like when you can tell how good the food is based on how much their clothes fall off.
We're talking about Food Wars. You know we're talking about Food Wars.
Food Wars, yes.
You're welcome.
My wife hates anime.
It's great though. I've always been of the mind that people who say they
Scott,
hate
can you make
anime
it so
just
we
hasn't
just
found the right
bullshit?
show yet.
Oh, anime?
Yeah.
Oh god, I got into that when I was in middle school. That's some good stuff.
It's really just another means of like a media for showing off something, showing some kind of thought, right? It's There's definitely a style to it, but they range from any topic.
Well, the one, Drew, that I think you would love is My Hero Academia.
Oh God, that's such a good show.
Ken?
And the reason for that is because it explores the journey of a young man and a group of young people becoming heroes, and introducing them with moral crises and tests. And actually,
does it have swearing and all that, or is it pretty clean?
not
No,
pretty
it's pretty
clean
clean.
for kids.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet! I might check it out and use it in philosophy.
It's a very
Ken.
popular show. Yes,
Have you seen Keijo?
Keijo.
Yeah.
Kaijo, with a J.
Keijo.
Kei. Yeah, I think so. That's the gambler.
Huh?
You're talking? It's an anime about a gambler.
Gambling?
Yeah.
No.
Then I'm thinking of a different show. What are you talking about?
You should look up a trailer for this because
There's only one gambler.
you're going to enjoy the living crap out of this anime, and you can thank my disturbed family for finding it. It is Ken's anime. It is probably the most ridiculously satirical wrestling type anime I've ever seen in my life.
I'll check it out in just a second. I'm in the middle of a Gambit match.
Oh, I know you are. I'm just saying, check it out.
Oh, I will.
Hey, what can you guys tell me? I have some students who are doing a report, and I don't know too much. Oregon has a new drug law.
Yes.
What is this new
Continue.
drug law that you guys have?
So we've legalized psilocybin. So in 2 years' time, we'll have centers and distributaries that will have psilocybin available for use, for recreational
For
use.
medicinal or for recreation?
Recreational. Like
I thought it was medicinal only.
medicinal only? Well, not that what I read in the pamphlet.
Do you have to be a resident of Oregon to get any?
I don't honestly know. I don't know if they mentioned it. I don't think you have to be a resident. I think it's just here. I know that they have the same premise behind it that you get with like weed, which is like you can't take it across state lines because then it becomes a federal crime.
Oh,
Um,
that's a problem.
yeah. However, so psilocybin has been legalized, and then they decriminalized small amounts of heroin, meth, and cocaine.
All the hard drugs, yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, all the hardies are now basically, if they can't verify it as being for personal use, like like if you have it on hand. Bill, you're watching it, aren't you?
Can you send me not a link, but like spell it out in the chat? So, because I'm gonna forget by the time I try to get it in just a second here.
Woohoo! Chasing you down. Waha! That did not work. Oh, he's totally watching this shit.
This is great right here. This is
Again,
great.
my disturbed family found this shit, and I was like, Dad, we gotta watch this. And I'm like, okay. And I just sat there going, what the hell is this? And then I was like, make sure Ken gets it. I'm like, okay, I will.
Wrestling?
Dude, it's so much worse. You get into like 5th or 6th episode, and they start talking about the supernatural abilities and powers. Like, there's a chick in there who
And
has
food in their butts?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I've seen that show. No, I know what you're talking about now.
yeah.
That show.
The trailer started fine. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Is this good? Oh, okay. So it's pretty tame. I don't know what he's talking about. And then about like a minute in, it goes off the fucking rails. I'm like, so it's a fighting?
The first episode, they go deep into the.
And then when they start going like the ass of Varjar technique, I'm like, oh my god, I can't even.
Dude,
Just-
I know what
seriously,
you're talking about.
like there's there's a scene at one point where this chick basically, so you know how anime is about self-discovery, about special powers and that kind of thing, right?
Oh, please, no.
Yeah. So this chick doesn't realize that she has this ability. She's being slowed down by her suit. And she's like, we're going to have to try something new or I'm never going to make it. The typical inner monologue during a fight, whatever. And she's like, the only thing I can do is this. I need to build up more speed. And so she like pulls her whole suit up to where she like has this massive wedgie. And so her like, she's like, oh my god, her speed's increased so much. What has she done? Like, she's like, like that. So her like, she can move her ass faster because the suit's not blocking it. And then she finally gets to a point where she hits that like superhero moment where it's like, not nearly enough. And then she goes, and he's like that just tears the whole thing. So she's like, it's just ripped now. It doesn't even have, it's not even a thing anymore. So her bare ass is just being used to beat the shit out of people. Like,
Which family member?
it was my oldest.
Oh no.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, no. What would have given it away for me is if you had said Kaijo with the like 10 exclamation points after it.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
the name of this show.
Yeah, so it is what's okay, so that shouldn't be the part that surprises you. The part that will surprise you is that when you get to watching this shit, you get just as invested in this ridiculousness as everyone else. But they have
Read the comments on YouTube. The more serious it's treated, the funnier it gets.
Yeah.
I thought this anime was more of a swimming contest. My life is all a lie.
Yeah, so the thing about this show that surprised me is that there are actually moments where there is like this sense of like truly heartwarming elements with the characters and their development. Like they actually somehow or another managed to pull in a human piece of it, and it's like this whole thing is fucking ridiculous. But you're like, oh man, her dad,
There's
dad,
like elements that just draw you in.
her dad, the main character's dad, is like a jiu-jitsu fanatic and wants her to be like a champion. She chooses this butt wrestling thing, and he's like, whatever. So he shows up to one of her matches, and she actually has to struggle to do well. And he actually becomes like, oh man, she's doing a great job. And you actually just like, way to go, Dad, you're stepping outside your comfort zone. Yeah, this is weird to watch teenage girls just beat each other with breasts and butts, but I mean, you're really opening yourself up there. You were a pretty conservative guy there for a minute. Now you're not. You're supporting your kid so that she can beat the crap out of people with her butt.
And our boobs.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. The conversation is eliciting wonderful, delightful looks from my wife. Of what
Oh.
the fuck?
I'm half listening because I'm reading about election results and I don't even know what the hell you pervs are looking at. I want it.
Keijo on Crunchyroll. You'll have yourself fulfilled, I guarantee it. Not necessarily the best family anime, however.
You guys all fit together?
Oh my god, that's god, it's.
my
The
God.
thing is, the trailer sucked me in. I was like, okay, this looks stupid.
All right, what am
Okay.
I looking for now?
Keijo. Lots of exclamation points.
Oh my gosh.
All right, now I get to experience Drew's expression, just like you got to experience mine.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is something you just don't bring to the family unless you're going to try and describe to them about socially acceptable Skinamax. Like,
Oh god, what the fuck did you do to me, D?
I've enlightened you, Bill.
Wiping the tears away.
Well, I can't believe what I saw. There was the part where basically the butt cheek had like muscle ripples like abs,
Yeah.
Like abs.
like unlocking the power, like thunk, 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 thunk. Shine.
Yeah. I still think the fact that they play on some cliches like the hypnotic boobies, that was another funny one.
Well, in the first episode, she one of the girls moves so fast that her butt becomes her boobs, and they just like jiggle in the place because she moved around so fast. Like she moved her butt so fast that it made it look like it was her boobs. Doesn't happen.
I hope you're enjoying this, Kimmy, because I know I am.
It's more breaking her mind.
I'm laughing my ass off because it's, of course, not. It says, Dad, you have to watch this. And I'm just staring at it like, no fucking way. This can't fucking be real. Like, I know about all the other pervy stuff. I greatly accept the fact that Japanese people have this stuff going on, and they'll, like, I applaud them for their just wide open, like, we pervs, man. Like, I get that. And I'm like, okay, I'm down to clown with that whole concept. You guys are great for that. This, on the other hand, surprised me for whatever reason. And I think that kind of makes me a little stupid, because it shouldn't surprise me.
I think what is surprising is, like, I'm not surprised this idea came about, right?
Right.
What I'm surprised about is they did it with such seriousness and with such like heart, right?
Right.
Like,
it's heart and a weird amount of tact. Like, there's.
That's what we were talking about with Food Wars. Is the fact that they know what they're doing. They're making fun of what they're doing while they're doing it.
The chick with synesthesia that is able to predict the other person's moves because she literally can see the heat signatures on a person's body, so she can tell what sort of like butt-tastic move she's gonna pull off. I mean, like, how many different ways are we gonna make this shit weird, people? And they're like, we've got hundreds. And it's like
sumo ass wrestling.
Now Drew's down a totally different rabbit hole.
It's sumo wrestling with tits and ass.
TNA.
You know what? I want to make a sumo wrestler for Shadows.
Oh, Christ. Well, at least we wrapped it together so that it's not D2, the election, and some random bullshit we're talking about. Let's do world building.
Wow, this is...
Yeah. Wow, it's just an acceptable.
Episode 9, The Ruler of the Jungle, just, wow. East meets West. Have you seen East meets West? Please tell me it's like these little Asian girls going against some Latinas.
No, I have not.
Or Latinx, as I like to be called nowadays. I better shut this down. All I need is I'm going to start my class up tomorrow. I'm going to share my screen with my class and be like, "Oh, that was last night."
Just own it. Yeah, I like that. I like tits and ass.
How are you gonna? Bring Keijo in as a philosophical question.
Exactly.
What do you mean? What is the jiggling here represent?
I had for a while when in my early mid-20s, I had backdrops on my computer of just beautiful women in like just TNA, but just like in really nice poses and like black and whites and stuff. And I brought my home laptop to work one day because I needed to do some work, and I put my TA on it to do some work and totally forgot. And she opens it up, and I'm like, "Hey!" I'm like, "Oh, that's a nice picture right there." She goes, "Yeah, that's really pretty. Yeah, I know. Thanks. Here, let's get you off this computer right here, sweetheart." Good thing that she and I become good friends over the years, because that was awkward.
Man,
she owns an ice cream store now.
I am
we derailed your world building.
I'm cool with it.
Although that actually, I mean, how would you picture a sumo wrestler in Shadows? Would it be like borged out with like a metal steel belly, or
I
would
don't.
you take the spiritual element?
I would probably end up putting it in the spiritual side of things, just to like, only because of the fact that like, if I were to do it, I'd probably put it in the spiritual element because all I can think about is frickin' Sir Slaps-a-Lot from Street Fighter, man. Yeah, Honda, I believe his name was.
Oh, Honda. No, see, I was thinking more of like in remember the robot in Chrono Trigger?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course I do.
Yeah, almost like that, but it's a human who's been modified to like, take people out using different body parts and almost like Barrick, but he was an ex-fighter that, prize fighter that got beat up a little too many times, but he kept, adding a little part here and a little part there in hopes of not getting caught. And then one day gets caught and he's thrown out in disgrace, and now he's got to, work his way on the mean streets of and make his living. Now he's a hired hand. It's like a bouncer.
Anybody who wants to bring something from Chrono Trigger into Shadows, from my opinion, if you can make it work, that'd be interesting.
God, I would love that show, that game to be remade.
Right? I don't know if it would have the same element of, like... Chrono Trigger was made with pure love and affection. Like, whenever I think about that game, like, whenever I think about who made it and how they made it, it's like, this game truly has love and affection thrown into every single pixel. It was just so well crafted.
So whereas I loved Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana will always be
Those are good.
my
both
number one.
games.
Hey, look, both of those games are at the height of Super NES RPG games.
Yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
Final Fantasy
if they're
6
not
or
in
Final
the top
Fantasy 3 here.
also excellent game.
God dang, yeah. I miss those kinds of role-playing games.
Yeah, you don't see like that anymore.
Because it's all, especially on the phone, it's all about the gotcha games.
No, Chrono Trigger was great because it was all about puzzle solving, as well as it had a wonderful story arc. I mean, this was the height of it was right after SquareSoft and Enix merged. Oh, Takeshi Takota, yeah.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. It's really, really good stuff. And, like, those are the games that I, like, grew up on, like, hoping and expecting to see the same thing, but AAA gaming's gone a totally different way. And I ended up... I ended up getting RPG Maker a long while back. It was, like, a little over $100 with a bunch of tiles. And I intend to actually make a role-playing game, but... I have to be careful because I might turn it into another Doom and Destiny type thing, because I don't know if you guys have ever... Was it Doom and Destiny? Doom and Destiny, I believe is what it was called. But Doom and Destiny is like, 100,000% hysterical to play. Because its premise is that there is another world, and there's a guy who's out there trying to take it over in the traditional cliche sense. But the way
Kingdom Hearts. Sorry, not
yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, Kingdom Hearts is another good one, but like so you get to the cliche thing where he's just sort of like pull the lever, whatever. It's all in text, but it starts off with this guy talking about how he's going to conquer the world with his dark crystal, whatever, and then it pans over to a conversation with his two technicians in the room with this big ass crystal in the laboratory. And they're talking about, yeah, man, I had a great party last night. Oh, I was there too, dude. And they just keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's just like, holy crap, man. It was so great. I got laid. And he's like, yeah, me too. And like, he tells them to get their act together. And the chick is like in the center trying to be the source of this energy point. And she's like, wait, you were the two guys that were there last night? And the guy's like, wait, what? What are you talking about? It's like, well, I got so nervous that I decided that I was going to try and loosen up a little bit before the big thing. So I went out there and it's like, no, it only works if it's a virgin's blood. Like, and it freaks out because the two guys are like high-fiving about the fact they got laid, but they screwed the whole thing up. And so it then, like, this portal opens and sucks in like 4 tabletop role-playing gamers into this whole world, and they're all moronic. And so it's all on the nose, satirical RPG stuff. But, you know, they basically eat chips, pizza, and beer to heal themselves. And and there's like one guy who wants to read the manual and learn the instructions. There's one dude who's a complete douche nozzle who doesn't do anything correctly. And he's just sort of like, yeah, I want to do this. And they're like, well, what are you talking about? No, I want to do this. Like, it's really stupidly funny. Doom and Destiny.
Wow. I was just looking at whatever happened to Square and Enix. That's a sad story if you go look into the history of those two great companies. They merge, and they're now just a holding company of other shit companies.
Why did that happen?
Changes in preferences, I guess. I don't know, money, greed.
The usual.
Ooh, Fable was a good game, yeah.
I wish they would have done more with it. Like, I wish Fable was a hell of a lot longer. Whenever I played that, I was really intrigued by it. And it just didn't last long enough. That and I aged too fast. I will say this. By the time my Paladin was done with the first run-through, he was so gay.
You know, was more frustrating than picking up a game that, you know, they tell you, hey, this is a 40 or 60-hour game, and you play it, and you're like, okay. Like, somebody, the creator of Zelda, and a couple of some of the great RPG games came out about 8 or 9 years ago and said, you guys don't know how to make video games, I'm going to make one more game, and made a game. What the hell was the name of it? I think it was The Last Story or something like that, and it was really, really good.
Well, the game that's real that I still can't beat right now is Divinity 2. That is a hard game, and it is God knows how many hours I put into it. And the story is involved, and it's incredibly well done combat, like hard combat. Like, it gets to the point that if you don't spec right in the beginning, you screw yourself completely over. But it's one of the few games that has come out, like in the RPG realm, that is pretty incredible.
Oh, yeah.
And their company actually did Baldur's Gate 3.
Nice. I'm looking at this list of the top 100 RPGs of all time. Dragon Warrior 7, considered one of the longest RPG games ever created. You needed at least 200 hours to beat the game. That
would be accurate.
The original Final Fantasy. That one was...
Yeah, that game was... I actually beat that one.
I beat the original one. That was a good one. Oh, Illusion of Gaia. That was a good game.
Well, gents, I need to get to bed. So
yeah, I'm gonna head off soon once I finish this.
Hanging out. Well, I'm glad, D, that you found a hilarious show all on your own.
It wasn't me that found it.
Well, by proxy.
Your twisted children.
Yes, my twisted children. In fact, I'm very proud of them for that. The fact that they can bend and warp my brain the way they can, I gotta give them credit.
Ooh, Breath of Fire. That was I still have that.
You guys have a good night. I'll see you online.
Hey, you too.
Hey, have a good night, Ken.
Later, Ken.
See ya.
Ciao, Ken.
Wow.
Super Mario RPG. That was a fun, kind of cheap, cheesy game. So my wife wanted me to get rid of all my Super Nintendo and NES games, and I refused. And I went and looked up some of them. I have like the original Dragon Warrior games still in their boxes. And some other classic RPGs. Ooh, Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, that'll be one that will never die. The millions of discs that it was on.
Yeah. Oh, Granada. That was a fun one. Xenogears.
I don't remember that one.
It was Nintendo NES. Final Fantasy IX. That one was okay.
Xenogears.
There's Baldur's Gate, considered one of the tops. Baldur's Gate was good. Paper Mario.
Xenogears better be up on that one because that game was fantastic. And then when
Dragon
they
Quest
rebooted
V.
it, they ruined it.
Yeah. Ultima 4. Yeah, that was a good one. Some of the Final Fantasy games didn't. They got. I kind of lost me as they got later on.
What?
Elder Scroll. That's a good one. Final Fantasy 3. Classic.
Yep.
Even the opening of the game is a great opening.
Yeah. They like whenever you had that kind of love and attention thrown into it, you can really tell.
Oh yeah. I was playing that game and I went on a spree and I was just rolling it. And the tree in my front yard came down and I was on the last bad guy and I was getting him. And our tree fell down, knocked out the power, and wiped my entire game.
Oh damn!
I had to start the whole thing from the beginning. I was so pissed. Elder Scroll 3. That's good. Earthbound. Deus Ex.
I think the one that I had that doesn't get a lot of like light. I think it's called Secret of Evermore.
Oh yeah. Oh, here's a good one. I played this one. I remember when this came out. Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, lots of people touted that one.
Yeah. Dark Soul was a good one. Witcher 3. That was. I had a lot of fun with Witcher 3.
Did you ever play the expansions?
Only one. During the 90s.
Yeah, because not only was that game incredible, but the Blood and Wine expansion was an entire new game.
Nice. I haven't played that one. Oh, I forgot about this. Secret of Mana was multiplayered.
That I did not know.
Yeah, it's considered the crown jewel of SquareSoft's games. World of Warcraft. That one was that was a lot of fun. Oh, I love this one about Final Fantasy 3. You let the bad guys win halfway through the story. Took on subjects like genocide, forbidden love, and suicide. It's considered a magna opus of RPGs. Yes, it is. And number 1 of the top 100, Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, that would make sense. It was just a damn good storyline. Plus, the magic systems and things in it were so well done. Like, everything felt so great with the way that they had that set up. It was like one of the few turn-based combat systems that felt not like a turn-based combat system.
No, it didn't. I play online. I get my emulators and play it, and this is one I play. It's Secret of Mana or Chrono Trigger, but I think when I go home, I'm going to be pulling those out and playing them again.
Revived. Put a little water on it.
Yeah, it should all this stuff should work. I took really good care of my video games. Just the graphics. I still have my strategy guides for them too.
Wow,
That's
now
impressive.
that's something.
I had some guy offer me $100 for all my strategy guides, and I was like, no, I'm okay.
Now $500.
Who knows? All right, gents, I'm gonna call it as well. It was a pleasure.
Yep.
We'll see you. I think we'll probably see each other next week, and then take a break for the holiday.
Probably, yeah, because Thursday I want to be neck deep in turkey.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yep.
All right. See you later. I'll probably talk to you a little here and there, Bill, and then see you next week.
Well,
Yep.
and to whoever's watching, thanks for watching.
Yeah. Thank you for our bizarre night.
Yeah, it was a bizarre night.